Hey folks, we're going to do some Eberron artwork tonight for the adventure that we're creating, Crystals on a Bar. 8th level characters using 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons. It's going to publish on the DMsGuild. Give me a second here to check my signal and go through my official intro spiel, and then we'll get to work for a couple hours. So hold on here real quick, check my signal, and then sounds loud and clear to me. Fantastic. Click, click, getting myself set up here. Ready to go. Okay, hey, my name is Theurgy. I create role-playing game supplements, I illustrate them, and then I publish them online. I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition for a number of years now, and there is a slew of work linked in the description down below. They all have extensive free previews, so if you're just here for the artwork, if you click on any of the full previews, you'll see probably about 150 different illustrations that I've produced just for those books that are linked there. Plus there's others on DMsGuild that you can check out, including stock art if you wish. Beyond that, if you're a D&D enthusiast, then most of the stuff down there is designed for use on both sides, the mechanics, the rules that I create, the supplemental rules. Those are that you can, both DMs and players generally can use. So if you're looking for some new tech or ideas to expand how characters can interact in the fantasy world of Dungeons & Dragons, then check out that stuff. If you think it's cool, consider making some purchases to support the growth of my endeavor of quitting my day job and do this every day for 6-8 hours a day. God, that'd be amazing. So help me get there. You can do so by follow me on Twitter if you're still on X Twitter, which is at Theurgy. Or best way is to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so that YouTube continues to feed me to other people that are interested in this kind of content. We're at 207 subscribers now. That's awesome. We picked up two whole subscribers yesterday. That's the kind of momentum you have when you start growing. It used to be I could get 1 subscriber every 2 weeks. Now it could be 2 subscribers a day. That's incredible. Thank you so much for support. So Crystals on a Bar, like I said, we create books, we illustrate them, and then we publish them for you guys to chew on. Crystals on a Bar is an adventure in the world of Eberron, which is a world that was built by Keith Baker, backed by Wizards of the Coast for 3rd, 4th, and now 5th edition as well. We created this book cover probably back around episode 40 of this stream. We're up to episode 157 now. So, and we've built all the map, well, almost all the maps. When we finish the current project, we'll go back and we'll finish the final maps. We still have like a farmhouse and like a gazebo, a land hole, a sinkhole, a landfill, stuff like that. A couple different things we have to build. But we've created this book cover. I'm really happy with it. It'll look kind of like that when you see it on the new titles or Eberron Adventure ribbon on Dungeon Masters DMsGuild.com. So it'll look like that. Hopefully that's interesting and compelling enough to wonder, is that a face or something that's going on? So when you click in and you zoom in on it, you're seeing that there's stuff going on here. Let's find out more, and then you can click on the preview and start looking at how the adventure will look. One of the early pages will present you with these NPCs, each of which provides a different adventure hook for giving you reason to run around inside the campaign. So each of these characters has a different hook. They provide you with different resources, different goals, and different ways of getting to the location that they need you to be at to complete their mission inside of the adventure that we're building. So they're no more than just talking heads like in a JRPG. They're basically talking heads with that the MPs that the DM just uses as exposition to get them set up. They could be a little more than just an exposition conversation that you say, you had a conversation with the gatekeeper druid, Seguth, and he hires you to do this mission. He gives you these things. He and his circle of gatekeepers perform a ritual, sending you through the forest into a swampy location, and then you can start describing one of the next map vignettes that we'll be building probably Oh, we're getting close here. So probably by October we'll be back into building maps, and one of the first ones we're going to build is the dreaded tree, which is where your characters will arrive if you allow Zaguth to send you through on behalf of the gatekeepers to shut down the manifest zone to the realm of evil. So good times, good times. So we're just going to continue illustrating right now. Where are we at? We're building a bear chest. Nice. Not a bear chest, but yet a bear on his chest. There and there. And we're going to build into a third layer here. Those are a few noises that the bears make. Bears make those kind of noises. Good times. So we're going to put a bear paw on his shoulder here. So we're just filling this in with bear-ish colors. Let's push this fuzziness down here. I'm going to leave that shade like that, but here, and we'll rearrange these things so they're little claws. It'll be nice, like just big padded paws. It'll be fine. It'll all be fine. This is fine. Applying maximum effort. Confidence is high tonight. Speaking of which, let's make sure we have a shot of Coke. We're enjoying Coca-Cola and ice water. I appear to be all out of ice water. So we're just drinking Coke. Pepsi for when they don't have Coke. That's sweet. Feel that this bear is off perspective, so I'm going to press the perspective button. There we go. Skew like that. There we go. Yeah, we're just going to push this bear into shape. And then we will be likely merging this all down together here shortly. I'm going to grab this here. Transform, rotate, and shrink that down a touch. There we go, fleshing that thing out. I'm just relaxing into the image here a little bit, trying to let my brain loosen up, let go, control, let the muse step in and let her pilot for a while. I don't know if she has anything she wants to talk about tonight. I'm leaving the door open for in case she does. I feel like that shift was a mistake. Come back in here like that. There we go. That feels better now. Yeah, it does feel better. Ear's a bit crooked. Skew. We'll fix that. I like that beard, but I think it's a little bit too much. Let's trim that up a bit. There, I'm starting to feel a little better. I don't really trim it up at all, I just kind of evened it out. That's cool. I'm good with even. Steven. There we go. Yeah, that's gonna work. Cool. Stitch that back up. Get back to our bear. I'm going to let's go with open mic. There, open mic. Happy to ask about game-related questions. There's nobody in chat right now, so I may just be making a fool of myself, but if you're catching this after the fact, you are also welcome to ask any questions in the comments down below, and I will address them the next time I go live here. But if you happen to show up while I'm live, you are most welcome. Most welcome to ask. I know my muse will be probably dropping in to take control of my paint here in a little bit. Just waiting for that opportunity to slide into position and get on with getting on. The last time, let's see, we had done for the past couple sessions, we were talking about adventure structure. And specifically, we were talking about how campaigns progress in levels, and how the threats you don't deal with naturally escalate to become larger problems that are befitting higher level character play that are technically your fault for not dealing with them sooner. So there's a lot of fun attachment that you can get out of players that are willing to take personal responsibility for problems in the campaign world. Like if that's the kind of character that they're playing, or if that's the kind of player that they are. It both work. Either way, what you're wanting is you're wanting player investment, and savvy players that are looking for opportunities to build in backstories into a campaign for themselves can pick up on these escalating conflicts and seed things like, for example, maybe I'm looking for my lost father, and there's a war band that's presented itself that we haven't gotten time to do anything about. So the war band has been building momentum and power. It may be a great opportunity for a savvy player to look at that as an opportunity of, I've been looking for my dad and I haven't been able to find him all these years. What if he's been in that bandit gang all this time, and I've never found him because we've never gone and confronted the bandits, and I wouldn't know. If the DM doesn't care, that's a great opportunity for a player to integrate what they want their backstory to be into the content that the DM is producing. We were talking about allowing the theme and goals and threats in the campaign to evolve with the problems the players don't solve if all things are equal. Like if the players don't care, like they just want to go for a ride, they just want to run in a campaign, they don't have a specific goal of what kind of a campaign it wants to be. So it's basically an open, it's a blank canvas for you to build upon, if we want to use that sort of a terminology. So one approach, like instead of starting off at first level with characters with backstories, start off at first level with no backstory at all. And if your character survives first level, then they're rewarded with having a backstory. And you can build momentum in backstories by at first only allowing the players to offer, like, say, 2 sentences. Like, they can have a 2-sentence backstory, and that is all they get. And get rid of that. There. Go to the skin. There. So their reward for their character surviving is they get more and more backstory. And since when they gain levels, or if you wanted to, it could be each session that they play, they get to add another sentence to their character's backstory. So as you... Thank you, Timely Timer. Pause and reflect. So you've got this backstory, like your first sentence is, I'm looking for my lost dad. And as the campaign progresses and you start running into this bandit, this bandit game that you haven't done anything about, and it continues to escalate, and you have this idea that, I wonder if my dad's in there, then you can use your level up to add in your backstory. Hey DM, I'd like my dad to be in that bandit gang, and I want that bandit gang to be the next threat that we resolve in our next adventure. And if everybody on the team is on board with that, it's like, that's interesting. Because that starts opening up options. Like, what if it turns out that, like, the team as a whole, what if the team decides, it's like, we kind of like his dad, and we want to work with him. Like, let's reform this bandit gang, or let's make something productive out of it. And now your team is taking responsibility for like this small, band of adventurers that have been misapplying themselves until you came into the picture, for instance. So now you can start building a bandit, a traveling adventuring troupe. We'll get them out of banditry and get them into adventuring. And now you have your dad as like a sidekick, for instance. And as long as you keep the sidekick around his father, then you're going to have a pool of resources in the form of the adventuring troupe that you just recruited. So that's one way that you can approach like the beginnings of domain. Like if you're only like say 5th level at that point, and you can start introducing the idea of if you want to start building an organization, then we can use this this adventuring troupe as a seed for us to then build more and more adventures upon. Like if they were bandits, maybe there's a couple grudges that need to be resolved, and it gives you an opportunity to have some redemption for the NPCs. That would then further endear the bandit troupe to your characters, and build relations with the father. And now you're starting to create a new theme in your campaign. That is because you as a character, you as a player, decided that you wanted to have your father present in that bandit game. So you can start, if you don't like, the DM is going into this and there's so many different plot lines that could be followed, but you're only focusing your attention on the plot line that's relevant to the decisions that the players make. The players can return that favor by not being invested in their backstory until the actual campaign they're running starts presenting role-playing opportunities that are themes that they specifically want to explore, that were created by the results that they had. So you have that one sentence per adventure or per level. Because if there's going to be like 5 of you at the table, that's a lot of plot stuff that starts to evolve. And what will happen is the players, since they only get one sentence, they're going to try to learn they're going to try to figure out how they can leverage that sentence. So they're going to ask, hey, can we build stories together so that we can get more leverage out of our level up? So instead of just us each having just one sentence at 5th level, we now have 5 people contributing 5 sentences towards the same campaign goal. That is exactly what you want them to do. Because the more the players start relying on each other for their backstories, the more they're going to want to help support each other in the adventure, because their backstory becomes your own. So it's not a selfish division of, I want to go this way, I want to go that way. If your players give as much respect to the development of the campaign as you are, they can start choosing their goals that they want to pursue based on what they as a team want to explore as their own personal quests. You as the DM don't have to do any real work. It's like, we got this bandit thing that's happening. Great. We want to use that as an opportunity to introduce the father. There's a shaman that cursed our druid. We'd like this bandit to maybe have a lead about that, or know who that shaman is, and like, I don't know, maybe there's a warlock in the group who's already starting to thread together with this. Like, yeah, that shaman knows secrets about my patron, and I want to know what those secrets are. So like, you can have all those things start threading together, but those are just one sentence a piece. So if you're only doing one level, only developing one level at a time, then that gives you the opportunity to build out all that shit from level 5 to 6 to get them into the bandits, to start dropping information about the shaman. And then the warlock's going to have delayed gratification because you're going to have to actually get to the shaman first. So you get the bandit, you get the father, that thread resolves. And then you find leads for the shaman that will lead you to the next place that you want to go in your adventure path. Like, here's your next 2 options now that you have this reformed adventuring troupe. What's your next objective? And the team can be like, well, we want to go after this thing. We think that we will have a better chance of finding the shaman if we go in that path, but we're going to have to ignore these other 2 things to go do that. So by the time you go do this thing and you find the shaman and you're able to, maybe you can release the curse. Maybe the shaman's like, I can only curse people. I don't know how to undo the curses. Now your warlock might trigger into this. And it's like, well, now that we've found the shaman, I want to find out more. You can start building into that warlock thing, and maybe the warlock has a means, like maybe the otherworldly patron has a means of breaking the curse for the druid. So now the druid is getting more invested in finding out more about the patron that the warlock is bound to. So those 2 start weaving their thread together. And that could be independent from the father, like the father of the bandits. He's kind of locked down because he's the morale. He's like the morale gauge. Like, if the dad is happy, that means that the adventuring troop that he's the commander of is happy. So you can get more out of them for like NPC tasks and stuff. Yeah, I like how that looks. I'm really happy with that. Let's start getting some of this going on in here. This is turning out really nicely. I'm happy with this. Yeah, so you can start getting them to invest and buy into each other's storyline and thread those together. If they don't care, then it doesn't matter. It's just a 1-sentence prompt that players can use to have their character become more and more ingrained into the storyline as they continue to survive. And since they're so loose on the actual plot and storyline that's developing around the adventures that they're on, if they die at 6th level, they've only literally contributed 6 sentences of theme to the adventuring, the development of the adventuring team as a whole. So you can actually just easily swap that character out. Like, you're like the character whose father is running the reformed bandit group / adventuring troupe. So you've already established that your character dies. It's tragic. Your father realizes how much more of a difference he can make, and you have that entire adventuring troupe to recruit your new character out of, and you already trust them because you've already been running around with this adventuring troupe in your pocket. So it becomes a resource for you to be able to pull more character. It's a character generator. It creates plausible connections to your characters, introducing and accepting a new character out of the blue. Like, why would we accept you? Because I'm with the Ravenclaws. Of course you love me. It's like, yeah, we do. We've been on the downtime. We've been training you in the mystic arts. So now we can introduce this. I don't know, like he maybe wants to play a rune knight or something. It's like, great. Now we're going to introduce runes into stuff, and so, you know, as he develops, it's like, yeah, I want to develop these runes. So it's like, great. Every time we queue up a sentence, you can add stuff about your runes to it if you want. And then, so like to cure the druid's curse, they have to have like maybe like a dispel rune or like a remove curse rune. That when you do that, your character then has access to these like maybe that'd be an excuse for him to get like the mage killer feat or something like that. You know, stuff like that. So it all just kind of weaves together, and if you structure your campaign to have that loose fluidity to it, the team can be contributing as much to the meta narrative of the campaign as you are to the characters that are revolving inside of it. So it all just kind of works. It's all designed to just work together. So anyway, that's the thoughts behind that idea. Let's fold this up. Let's go down to the bear. There, that looks pretty good. And I like this guy. This is coming along. I think, dare I? Yeah, I think I want to do some highlights on that fur. I'm almost at the point where I'm going to bond this whole thing down into a single layer and then start doing cleanup. Very, very close to that point. So, jump back into here. If you check the last session in our stream, what episode 156. If you check episode 156, I gave credits to the artist where I found this piece of art. He's done Earth Dawn. I don't remember his name. It's Mate, M-A-I-T, Matt. I honestly don't know how to pronounce it, but he did some Earth Dawn artwork, including I think the book cover. So if you check out my previous stream, you'll get a link to that, and you can check out his work if you want to get, if you want to send him a thank you for having for offering his art online. Again, I don't see colors, so I have to go find references that I think have the kind of lighting and contrast that I want. So I'm always grabbing art off of the internet from other artists that I think have high quality, that I feel like I can trust their decision making as far as colors go, and I'm pretty happy with this one. So shout out, mate. Nice, just fuzz that in there, just breaking it down so it gets kind of hazy, floofy like fur does. Just like that. We'll be able to break this whole thing down. Nice. That guy's looking pretty hoss. Gotta say. Fucking cool. All right, cool. Let's be bold like an American and take all of this, duplicate the layer, merge it. Bam. See, now it's just one layer. Now I can really mess with it. We're on cleanup duty now. think I need to take the past few sessions and the conversations I've been having about threading plot lines and developing campaigns. I think I should be blending those together into like its own thing. Publish that for people to digest. Like make it like an hour-long something. Take the past few and like cobble them together into a ranting montage. I can maybe do one of those maybe once a month and just pick at different topics and stuff along the way while I'm here in the stream, and then start carving out those conversations into a bigger composition, and then just instead of having a weekly, it's like a once a month post, 10 to 80 minutes long. Who knows what it's going to be? That might be something additionally productive that I can produce. And then I have all the footage going on here of me painting and stuff. Maybe it'll be an opportunity for folks to want to buy in and talk about this stuff in real time as we kick through it. That might be a smart thing to do. It'll take a little extra effort, but I have it. I mean, this stuff exists. I may as well use it. I feel. Start dropping some shadow here underneath the fur before I blend that all down. Just like that. I like how Fred over on How to RPG, he does a great job, I think, in building and conducting a live stream, because he has specific things that he wants to say, and so he'll run through what that conversation topic is uninterrupted, and then when he's done with it, he'll segment that piece off, and then engage and chill with his crowd for a while, and then he'll pick up another piece and he'll stop engaging with chat for a bit and go on a diatribe about whatever topic of conversation he wants to dive through, and then when he's done with that, he clips it. He marks it off with like a title card or whatever. And then he re-engages the chat, and then he normally just goes into game development or something like that, and then he just stays engaged with the team. But he always has a topic of conversation that he themes around, and then just starts hanging out with the crew. I like that format. I think it's really clever. I want to see what I can do to start integrating that into my activities as well. It just seems like a really good way to be able to organize thoughts during a stream. Wow, seriously? Holy cereal. Time flies when you're having fun, son. Fuzz that up a bit. I'm just doing little motions like this. It's just vertical lines in the direction perpendicular to the curve of the surface. So it has like this fuzzy interaction. And this is just me using the smudge tool right now. There's not, while I go through this process, I don't really need to engage the brush very much. I just want to fuzz this stuff down, and then I can come through with an eraser to clean it up. But it's a pretty good way for me to be able to form the bottom frame for this I'm blanking on the word. Bust. Technically, I guess it's a bust. Is it a bust if it's in ink? I think so. This little vignette. And like here, I'm pulling in the direction of the curve because it's beard hair, so it's flowing downward. So if I cross stitch it like that, that would end up making it feel furry. But if I'm pulling down, that's going to keep the texture that I want for the hair. Get into here. Grab this color here. There we go. So a lot of this texture that's in here doesn't need to go or do anything. It's just good texture. was a little more dreadly. There. There we go. I do not have to kill myself over the details that are going on in here. I just got to make sure that I'm getting the gist of it. Where are we at? 8:40? Okay. I'll give myself another 20 minutes and I'll check out. I think we'll be able to safely call this done in, yeah, 20 minutes. It's not like I have that much left to do. Basically fuck around with the bear face a bit, and then we can call it quits. So this guy will be done. We'll be done with the session. We'll be able to move on to the next thing. Yeah, we're doing okay here. Do need to address these claws. much we can here in a few minutes. There we go. See, let's work the problem. There we go. Just gonna break that texture up a little bit, just using the same vertical lines here that we had used before, just to get that texture going. So we're trying to mirror this structure here with this ear. So that's why we're building that out like that, so we can push out here. Grab a different color, drop that in. I just want to break up any like little pock marks here of highlight. I want to break up and fold those into the fur in general. Just like that. Slow down so it smooths out those little rough divots. And then I can intentionally include the divots by pulling fast on the highlights. There. Very good. Here we go. Still have a few minutes to burn, so we'll just go around and pick at it. I'm pretty happy with this piece altogether, but we have another 10 minutes, so just gonna pick and pick. Nope. Bruh. Let's go with I'm gonna add a layer since we're fucking around with the ideas of eyes now. I don't know if I like this idea at all. Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. stippling here to make little knots. I'm going to drop to a really low opacity, like 20%. So when I dot again, it's just a very mild gradient for this overall hair structure moving around. I want these little nubs to be able to play in the shadow without completely blinding out the shadow, you know? So just add a little texture to it. Just a little bit of texture helps fill it in just a little bit. Now I'm going to run over this highlight here, start pushing that back in with a low gradient, darker color here, so it has a very slow, gradual effect on these highlights that we just built in. So I'm cross-hatching to break up the shape of them, so there's no streaks. It all becomes just little knots, just like that. I'm going to grab this highlight down here. Still, I'm only at like a 20% opacity, so it takes a number of these stripes to really impact the structure overall, but it breaks up the texture really well. And if I pay attention to each individual knot that I'm working on, it makes them look like individual strands that are running through the whole structure. And I grab a lighter color here, and I do the same here into the shadow. Just break it up a little bit. Just like that. Hey, how about that? Perfect timing. I think I'm pretty happy with this. So we are going to leave it at that. We're going to let this guy just sit pretty. Merge down. Boop. All right, when we come back next week, we are going to start work on Sindrith Orbelt, the regional sheriff that deputizes your characters to go investigate the region that the adventure takes place in. So you have authority to conduct social encounters and have rights to explore in areas that may otherwise be cut off to you. So. Yeah, that's it. I do Eberron stuff like this on Monday and Thursday nights, like tonight, and then Monday through Friday morning. Currently, I do the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration page art, and then on Tuesdays at lunch, we develop new game mechanics. Currently, we're working on the martial power system, which provides a consistent mana mechanic for all martial characters and half casters and full casters to have the same mana language. But in the martial power system on Tuesday, we're applying that directly to combat exploration, a little bit of social options for you to spend mana to gain boosts, advantages, and perform different things with. And then on Saturday is our personal projects and commission stream. So I'm currently hired to create a book cover for an abyssal themed adventure. So I'm building that on Tuesdays, and once that's finished, I may have another couple different people that are lined up looking for commissions beyond that as well for their projects. So looks like Saturday is just becoming a commission production stream more so than a personal project stream. So once the Eberron, once the Spelljammer book is done and publishes on Monday through Friday, this Eberron project is going to move to the mornings on Monday through Friday. Continue developing assets for the adventure, and once the adventure is finished editing, then we'll do the page layouts and start dropping these assets into the pages that we'll be laying out for the adventure as a whole, and then that'll publish. Once Spelljammer's done, Eberron moves forward into the morning. The martial power system will drop into Monday and Thursday nights. We may keep it on Tuesdays, I'm not sure. But we're going to need to take Monday, Thursday, or Saturday and convert that into playtest time. So I can playtest the martial power system that we've been developing on Tuesdays, making sure I've been using it at level 12 to 19. I want to have new people playing at level 3 to 7. So I'm going to do a random hex crawl, dungeon crawl sort of exploration combat heavy campaign theme, and if the players are willing to use the martial power system to build out their characters, then we'll just rough and tumble, tear up stuff, see how fun it is, see where it's falling short, what we can do. So that's the ideas. That's what we're going to be doing. If you think this stuff is cool, me too. Like, subscribe, stick around, drop some comments down below. If you got any questions about any of the stuff that I was talking about, you're most welcome to ask either in the comments down below. If you know where you can catch me on Twitter at Phil Kearney. Drop into my Patreon, which is also Phil Kearney. Or if you know where I lurk on Discords, hit me up there. Say hey. So I'll see you guys on the other side. I really appreciate time spent together. So thanks a lot. Later.